Hi everybody! Welcome to another week of Technique Tuesday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin Blondie. Thanks for joining me for this special week of Technique Tuesday. Normally I come to you live for Makers Monday, but yesterday I was traveling back from seeing my best friends in Denver. So today and this week we have a special round of Technique Tuesday. Now let me just refresh my Facebook here so that I can follow along with your comments and make sure that I see all the fun that you guys get to see on your end. There we go. If you are watching live, make sure to comment hi so that I know that you're following along with me. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody's joining me live from. If you're watching this via replay on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to comment below so I know that you were able to join me today. I hope everybody had a wonderful week over the past week. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of sad news in the middle of last week. Many of you know that my husband and I love to rescue senior dachshunds. We call our house the Radloff Retirement Home for Dachshunds. So last week, unfortunately, our baby girl Noelle had to be put down. Her dementia had just overcome her mind, and she was no longer the same baby girl that we had. So while we had just said goodbye to Harvey 6 weeks ago, we did say goodbye to Noelle last week. So unfortunately, that was my Wednesday night, but this past weekend I did get to spend some time in Denver with some cooler weather and my best friends. Well, it was a little too cold for this southern Arizona girl. I definitely enjoyed our time together and look forward to the next time we can get together in Florida as they are moving there soon. All right, well, I hope you all had a wonderful week and your week has kicked off to a great start. Today, I'm going to share with you a technique that I call Inked Up Embossing Folder. It is a super easy technique that anybody can create, no matter what your skill level is. So let's go ahead and get started with some announcements, and then I will jump on and show you the projects we're going to create today. All right, switch the camera there. So like I said, hope you had a great week. The first thing that I wanted to remind everybody is Saturday is the final day to RSVP for my October holiday card club. Now, unfortunately, next week I will be having foot surgery, so I'm not able to host our in-person event this month. But the deadline to RSVP for our October class is this coming Saturday. We will be creating 6 projects, 2 of each of these designs here. And these are my non-traditional holiday color projects for this round. I always like to do a month where we do non-traditional colors because while green and red is really fun for Christmas, it's still fun to think outside the box with some fun, funky colors. So these are the projects that we are going to be creating in this month's holiday card class. For this project kit, you receive supplies to create 6 cards, 2 of each design, and a full package of the first Frost Designer Series paper, which is got photographic images on one side, and on the other side it has foil paper designs, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. We'll be featuring the Christmas Means More stamp set that has really fun sentiments from movies that last week I did alternate projects using this stamp set. You'll also receive a full roll of this iridescent ribbon, which is really fun to work with, and so we have it on all 3 projects, and a full package of basic rhinestone jewels. Now you're also able to add on the Christmas Means More stamp set to your project kit if you don't already own that. So all the details on how to register for this month's holiday card class can be found in the description of this video. And don't forget to sign up by Saturday. Saturday's the last day to sign up for this month's class. So I hope you're able to join me. This is going to be a really fun class kit this month. All right, next up we have our designer series paper sale. This runs until the end of this month, and there are really great designer series papers that are 15% off from either our August through December mini catalog or our annual catalog. Today I'm going to be featuring one of the papers that's on sale, the Magic in This Night 12x12 designer series paper. Now, these papers are perfect for creating Halloween projects, which I'm going to be doing today. And so we also have the In Good Taste 12x12 designer series paper that's on sale, and the Forever Greenery 12x12 designer series paper. Now, this is just a sample of some of the ones. All the details on this sale, again, can be found in the description of this video. This runs until the end of this month. And there's a bunch of different varieties. We've got Christmas paper, some plaid paper that's great for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then on the back here is your Halloween paper. Right there in the middle, Magic in This Night designer series paper. So make sure to check out that sale. You can never have too much pattern paper. As soon as you think you have everything that you need, you try to create a project and you don't have it, just like I did a couple weeks ago. All right, our two projects that we are going to create today for Technique Tuesday are right here. So the technique that I'm going to share today is called Inked Up Embossing Folder. Very simple to do. You just need your favorite embossing folder, an ink pad, and I'm going to show you how to do it using a sponged brayer. That is the best way that I have found to create this project, but you can easily just tap your ink pad right onto your embossing folder and it'll create the same image. I'm also going to show you how to make this really cute Reese's Peanut Butter Cup gift box. Now, this is a special Reese's cup. I found this at Walgreens. It is called the Franken Cup, special for Halloween. It is half green, half brown, and the inside is green colored cream. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to crack this open and see what those special Reese's cups looks like. But this slides just right in and out with this belly band box that I'm going to create. And we are going to use the Ghoulish Goodies stamp set. Now, this stamp set is not found with the rest of the Magic in This Night suite. This is on page 53 of our August through December mini catalog. So there's the paper I'm going to use, the Cobweb 3D embossing folder, and also the iridescent pearls. But on page 55 is the Ghoulish Goodies stamp set. I decided to opt in for this stamp set rather than the Coordinating Hollows Night Magic stamp set because I really liked the kind of punny sentiments that are in this set. This is a traditional red rubber cling set, so it looks like regular stamps, and of course it adheres to our cling blocks. Our cling blocks, yeah, cling blocks. There we go. All right. As always, every week I supply a free project PDF that can be found on my blog. The link to this PDF is found in the description of this video. It has all of the item numbers and the price for the project supplies that I used. At the bottom, it also has the dimensions of the cardstock. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't put all the dimensions of this box listed on here, but I gave you the overall dimensions, and you can watch this video to follow along with the rest. If you open this up online, you can click on these two pictures here about my October holiday card class and to visit my Stampin' Blondie blog. We have our weekly host code here at the top. If you want to shop for any of the supplies that you see in this video, shop with this weekly host code to receive an extra surprise from me in the mail. This host code is available until Sunday evening, so you have just about a week to purchase any of these supplies. And every week we have our weekly prize patrol, where if you share, like, and comment that you shared on this video, you get to win, to be entered to win this week's prize patrol. Now, last week I gave out a roll of the 3/8 inch silver metallic edged ribbon, my favorite ribbon in our annual catalog. This can be colored and dyed to match any project that you want. And so our winner this week is Dawn Courier. She is one of my Air Force friends that now lives in Iowa, about an hour, 2 hours away from now from my hometown. So congratulations, Dawn, you are this week's Prize Patrol winner. And if you share, like, and comment on this video that you shared, you can be entered to win this Cobweb 3D embossing folder, which is our Prize Patrol for this week. This is a really fun embossing folder for Halloween, but make sure that you comment that you shared this video. Sometimes Facebook doesn't always let me know if you have shared the video. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with inking up embossing folders. So for this project, I am going to use, let me get everything out here. I have a piece of basic black cardstock that's cut to 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And I've already got it pre-scored, so I'm going to fold that in half. I have a piece of, I can grab it, Gorgeous Grape cardstock. This is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. That is the basic mat size that I use on all of my cards. So just gonna put that right onto, make sure our card's opening the right way, and right there. Now I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I have cut to 3.5 by 4 7/8. And you can see the difference in the colors here. So I'm inking up my embossing folder using Gorgeous Grape ink. And what I'm going to do is now when you do inked up embossing folders, the one thing I cannot stress enough to have on hand, baby wipes. You may get inky fingers along the way. Baby wipes clean up everything. So it's good to have some of those on hand. I am using our sponge brayers. These are found in our annual catalog on page 147. They're a little hidden on the page. When I actually was flipping through here earlier this afternoon to find the page, I was having trouble finding the exact page with these on it. So page 147, sponge brayers are right here, right smack dab in the middle, number 19. You receive 2 handles and 4 sponges, so they just kind of pop right off here, and you can change them in and out with different colors. Now you can wash these off and try to reuse them with different colors. I like to kind of keep one sponge to the same color. So you get 2 handles and 4 sponges for $8. That's a pretty good deal. I mean, you can do so many different things with these sponge sprayers. So we've got just a basic sponge brayer here. And what I'm gonna do is I've got my workspace covered with an easy cleanup laminated grid paper. You can use regular grid paper, any kind of paper to cover your workspace, but you definitely want to cover your space. Now our embossing folders have this line here at the bottom, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ink up the opposite side of the embossing folder without the line. So I'm just going to take my sponge brayer and kind of roll it in my ink and roll it right on to my folder. Now these folders can be washed off with soap and water. I wiped it down with a baby wipe. See, baby wipes are like the miracle. You need them in your craft stash. So just roll it right onto the folder. And with these brayers, you can layer and make them as dark or light as you want for your project. Like I said earlier, you could actually take your ink pad and just kind of stamp it on there. But I found with the brayers, I get more of an even coverage with the ink rather than just stamping it right onto my ink pad onto the paper or folder. So now what I'm going to do is I always use this black line to line up my cardstock to make sure that when I emboss it, it is straight. And I'm going to close this up because I don't need that right now. Don't want to get ink everywhere. So I'm gonna take my piece of Whisper White cardstock and I'm gonna line it up right onto that black line. And I'm gonna close the folder, taking very good care not to move that paper around in there too much because you don't want to smudge the ink. So I'm gonna bring in my embossing machine and I wanna show you the layers that I'm going to do for this. Now this is for the new Stampin' Up! Die Cut and Emboss machine. If you have a different embossing machine, it may be different layers for you. So I'm going to use my base plate here. So I have my number 1. I'm putting down my 3D embossing folder, and this tells you right in the guide here, use with 3D embossing folder. So I'm putting that down there. And then I'm using the number 4 precision plate for embossing. This is not a die cutting plate. This is for your embossing. So I'm gonna bring in my die cut machine here, emboss machine, and I'm just gonna run it through, straight through the machine. Here we go. And move this back off to the side. Okay, now let's see, we've got our plate. Take away our base here and then open it up, and there is your embossed folder. Now I like to use like the take your pick tool just because there's some ink around here. Now as you can see, I did the embossing part where when I ran it through the machine, it's going to give me the indentions and the ink on that side. If I wanted to have it where my embossing was raised up and the ink was on this side, I would have inked up this part of the folder. So if you decide to try out this technique for yourself, ink up both sides, see what side you like better, and you can always change your mind and decide what side you like best. Now after this, I'm gonna go take this to my bathroom sink with a little soap and water and just rinse this right off, and it'll come out just like new. So you didn't ruin your folder or anything by using our regular inks on our embossing folders. All right, so we're gonna put together our project here. Let me get all of my pieces. So I have pre-cut some of these just for ease of time. I used the Stitched Shapes dies to cut out a piece of silver foil paper. And then I used these ornate frame dies from the annual catalog, and I cut out this black piece here, and then this little small frame here. Now, just another technique and tip that I can share with you. When you're doing really intricate dies, especially these ones with the little swirls on the end, the best way to die cut this is to put your paper down and a piece of wax paper on top. The wax paper will keep the paper from sticking, the cardstock, from sticking into these little intricate pieces on your dies, and it makes it very easy to kind of pop that all out. Without that wax paper, you could be sitting here watching TV and poking out pieces for a while. So I'm gonna move my grid paper off to the side because it still has some ink on it. But we are gonna assemble the rest of our card. Now I'm going to use our Stampin' Seal Plus on the back of this. Because this is raised, our regular seal or your regular glue may not hold it down and stick quite as well. So I'm just gonna use our Stampin' Seal Plus, that's that very tacky, sticky glue. And I'm gonna put that right onto my card here. Now when you use Stampin' Seal Plus, you want to make sure your project is exactly where you want it because it's not coming up once you tack that down. So for our sentiment, we're going to use Gorgeous Grape and our Tuxedo Black ink and the To a Frightfully Good Friend, plus this little spider stamp. And like I said, I pre-cut this, die cut this already, just to save a little bit of time because our box is gonna take a little bit of time as well. So we're gonna ink this up. Billy said that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can do this on any embossing folder with any ink color The only thing I don't suggest is using our Stays On ink. Hence the name Stays On. You don't want to put that on your embossing folders because it won't come off. All right, and then our spider here, we're gonna do at different, it's black ink. I can use this on the back. You won't see that it's got a little bit of spider web on the back there. We're gonna use regular glue, so our Stampin' seal on the back of this to adhere to our frilly die. And what is a Stampin' Blondie project without dimensionals? So I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this foil paper so that it stands out from our project. My giant sheet of dimensionals that I wish Stampin' Up! Would sell all the time. I need to put in a suggestion that they need to sell those. And put this here, and then just to add a final touch, these iridescent pearls are so pretty. They have like this obviously iridescent look to them, but they're black pearls, so with the iridescent it makes it really stand out. I put these on in kind of a triangle pattern here. So when I like to put pearls and stuff on, I either like to do them in groups of 3, so here's your triangle look, or just 1 on there. 2 sometimes gives it an off look. But here is our Technique Tuesday using an inked up embossing folder. So let me know what you think. I hope you guys like this Halloween project here. This was really easy and quick to make, and I thought it had some really good kind of oomph to it. So it was a fun project to make. All right, I'm gonna get set up here for our second project. And like I said, this one's gonna take us just a little bit longer. So I wanna make sure I've got everything that I need for this one. So like I said, we're gonna create this really fun slider box, and it uses, you can put, I mean, any Reese's will really fit in here. But this is, you could make this a fun Christmas project as well. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock here, and like I said, all these dimensions are on the website PDF. I have a piece of basic black cardstock at 7.5 by 10 inches and 6 1/8 by 10 inches. So this one that is 7.5 by 10, this is going to be our base, and we're gonna start off by bringing our scoreboard out here. Couldn't remember the name. So what we're gonna do for this project is we are going to score at every 1/2 inch, from 1/2 inch all the way up to 2 inches on all 4 sides. So we have 1/2 inch, 1, 1.5, 2, turn, same thing, 1/2 inch, 1, 1.5, 2. Now if I am going a little fast, you can always watch this later if you decide to make this project and follow along with me. But just because I don't want you guys to sit here all night watching me create, which would be fun, I wanted to kind of just go a little quicker so you could still see what I'm talking about here. 1, 1.5, and 2. Okay, so on this one, this is what I call the short side and the long side. So on the short side, you know, we stopped here at 2 inches. Let me just get my notes out so I'm telling you the right thing here. We are going to score the next 1/2 inch in, but we're only gonna go down to the second line. So we're gonna score there, and then we're gonna score at 5 and down to the second line. We're going to flip and do the same thing at 2.5 down to the second line, and at 5 inches down to the second line. Right? Now we are going just for ease, I'm gonna score this next one since I have my scoreboard out, and then I can put this away. So this one is 6 1/8 inches by 10 inches. And on the long end, we are gonna score at 3 1/8, 3 5/8, 7 1/8, and 7 5/8. Now this scoreboard is perfect because every 1/8 of an inch is marked here along the top, and you can easily use this for scoring your cards, your boxes, whatever you want to create. I use this for scoring all of my cards. So if you've ever had a class from me, you will have seen that I have pre-scored your cards, and that's what I use. All right, we're going to get out our scissors here, and this is the main box, the bottom part. What we're going to do is, you can see there's a 4 by 4 square here. So 16 squares. Let me see, make sure you guys can see that in the light. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off all the way to the top here and all 16 squares on this part. Same thing on this side over here, all 16 squares. And here. There we go. Same thing on this side, all 16 squares. And cut. And the same thing last time, all 16 squares. Okay, there we go. Now I want to make sure this is the part that I was having some problems with yesterday. So these little, there's 2 little squares here. Okay, we're gonna cut those out. Cut. So you have this little tab that sticks out there, and that little tab there you're gonna cut at a diagonal. For me, it was easier to flip it over just for scissor space and cut that little space out. Same thing over here. Cut these little 2 squares that we scored down to, and then we're gonna cut this diagonal piece right there. Same thing on this side. Cut the little the 2 squares and cut a diagonal corner to corner there. And our last piece here, and cut that out. It's a little harder. Usually I cut like in my face, but I want you guys to be able to see, so it's a little harder to cut when you're not as close. So I hope my head's not getting in the way there. All right, and we're gonna clean up all these pieces here. All right, now we're going to fold. Now this is where a bone folder comes in handy. You're gonna want to score all of these lines, and I like the bone folder because it makes it very quick and very easy to score. So just crisp up those lines, score them all, and it makes it very fast too. I like to start all the way in the middle and work my way out. And once you see how this box comes together, it'll just all make much more sense. So we've got our long piece here, short piece. There we go. Fold that. Now, do you guys like making boxes and bags? Do you want to see more treat boxes and bags from me? I know I do a lot of cards. Sometimes I don't feel super confident doing these in front of you guys. I get a little shaky. I just don't want to mess everything up. But let me know if you want to see more boxes and bags and treat bags and all that stuff. Now, you can use a couple different adhesives to put this together. Tear and tape is one, but I like just regular Tombow liquid glue. It helps bond the paper together, and it really gives it that good bond. So the first thing we're doing, so all of our folds kind of go into the middle here. This top tab is where we're gonna add our glue. Just a little bit. You don't want too much. Let me fold that out of the way so you guys can see. And we're just going to fold that in so it creates like a little square tube. Now what I like to do is just take a basic pen and kind of stick that in there to make sure that it's bonded to your box. Because, you know, while I can Chinese finger trap this, my fingers aren't very big. So this paper, or this pen, really gets down the length of the box. We're gonna do the same thing on this side, just a little bit of our liquid glue. And roll that into the middle. And it'll butt up against the score line in there. So you can really, just get that off. You can really feel where it's supposed to line up to once you put that glue down. Now this glue dries clear. So if you have a heavy hand and you accidentally put just a little too much glue on your package like I did there, it'll dry clear, so no worries. Now this one, we're gonna do the same thing. And this one's gonna be just a little bit more difficult because we won't have that space to put our pen into. So I'm just gonna roll that, and you can see these are gonna overlap there. It's kind of like creating a picture frame. So you're gonna have to hold this one and let it bond for a few seconds. I like to put kind of a clear block on there. It's heavy, it holds it down while everything is bonding together. Same thing on this side, a little bit of glue, and you're just gonna roll that glued part in there and let it kind of just tuck in to the back. Now I'm gonna let that bond in there as well with a glue block or a clear block, and I'm gonna put this off to the side while we work on our topper. So we have just created our base, and now we're gonna do our top part here. Get some of this out of the way. So I have pre-scored this like I showed you earlier. So we're just gonna crisp up our lines. Now this is gonna wrap around the entire box. If you don't want to have your box be a slider project, you can always make this, you know, shorter this way, so it's just like a little belly band. But I wanted the entire Reese's to be covered so that once you slide that out, it's kind of like a little surprise for the people who are gonna get it, or yourself, whatever you decide to do with this project. And you could also cut this a little shorter too if you wanted. So mine's not gonna fully go score line to score line. It'll stick out just a little bit there. And while our box dries, I'm gonna work on the front of this. So while we have everything scored, I'm just gonna work on our front. I have a piece of smoky slate cardstock, and I'm using regular Stampin' Seal on the back of this. Oops. And that's just gonna go right in the middle here. Make sure I can see my score lines so I'm not overlapping those. And I have a piece of the In the Night, Magic in the Night Designer Series paper. I chose this particular one because the sentiment says good to the last bite, and it has spiders on it. While I'm not a big spider fan, I thought it kind of went along with the theme of the whole package. So we have our Spider Designer Series paper, and that's just gonna layer right here on the top. I pre-cut 2 pieces here, if I can grab them. This is a piece of Whisper White cardstock using the stitched shaped dies. The same dies that are this circle, we have ovals and squares in that same set. And then also a piece of basic black cardstock. I did the scallop design on it. And this is from the layering oval set. So we have the stitched shapes and the layering ovals that kind of go hand in hand with each other. There's also layering circles and layering squares. So we have a variety of different things. Now on this project, I did this vampire, and I wanted to make it look like he was walking along the the project here. So what I did is I took my Memento black ink and I just kind of did the stamp off method. So I have my ink here, and what I did is I inked it fully up, got it nice and inked up, and I worked my way from left to right. So I stamped him first here, lift up, and then I'm gonna stamp again and again. So it looks like he's walking away and it's just one ink of your stamp. Very quick and simple to do. So that's another technique for this Technique Tuesday. Our sentiment, the good to the last bite, I just stamped that on, where did I put it? Smoky slate cardstock. It's just a scratch piece of cardstock that I used. And I fussy cut around the sentiment. I didn't really go too far away from the words. I just wanted to do the quick outline of the sentiment. So clean that off and use my scissors to cut around just the words. And this is a very easy sentiment to cut around. It's not super tiny, it's not very big. So here we just cut around this. Bobby says, I love treat boxes and goodie bags. Okay, so I will definitely make sure to add some more of those to my Makers Monday when I do Makers Mondays normally. Like I said, this week I was traveling, so I wasn't able to do one yesterday, but today instead we have a very rare Technique Tuesday. So thanks for letting me know, Bobby. It's nice to get feedback to see what you guys like. I do these videos for you and I enjoy doing them a lot. So it's always fun to create stuff that I know that you guys are going to like. And with the holidays coming, you know, treat boxes and bags are really fun to create. All right, so we've got our vampire here just with our Stampin' seal. I'm placing that on the oval, and we are going to put together our box. Now it's coming apart a little bit, so if you have this where it comes apart a little bit, you can always add more glue down here so it sticks a little bit more. You can kind of add glue to the corners here so it will stick at the top as well. So that's what we're going to do there. And hopefully that keeps it together just a little bit better. I think last night it'd be great to have those things like when you're woodworking where you can clamp everything down with paper. But if you use tear and tape, the tear and tape is a little quicker. Obviously, you just tear it and lay it down. But I found that it hasn't created that bond just quite like liquid glue. I feel like this is better for treat boxes and bags and all those little things that we want to create here. There we go, that's better. So for our belly band, what I did is I already created the front and I have those pre-scored lines. So this will tell me where I need to glue on the back. Now you don't want to create this so tight that you can't slide that box in and out. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. Let me open this up so you guys can see. I'm just going to put some glue here around the part that I'm going to cover. Make sure I don't get ink or glue all over my hands. And I'm just going to close that. And it's still loose enough that I'll be able to slide that in and out to put my candy in this box. Maybe I did it too tight. There we go, still slides. There we go. And we're going to use regular adhesive on the back of our scallop. Put that right there. On the back of our good to the last bite, I used mini dimensionals, but I'm using mini black dimensionals. These come in a pack with a size of regular black dimensionals. I like these more because when you're using darker colors, they don't show that bright white in the background. So these are our mini black dimensionals in the annual catalog. I put that right there in the corner. And just for something a little fun, this polka dot tulle ribbon. You could use black ribbon, black shimmer ribbon, any kind of ribbon that really coordinates. I didn't have any black shimmer ribbon that I had wanted to use, but I found this white ribbon goes great as well. So just a quick tie. This tulle ribbon is a little harder to tie bows in because it is got that meshy to it, but they call me the queen of bows because I can whip these things up pretty quick for my class attendees. I was so happy to create bows for you guys a couple weeks ago. It was really fun. And I can't wait to create more again in November after my surgery and I heal next week. To adhere this mesh ribbon, I like to use glue dots. I find it's very quick and easy to adhere this to your project. If you were to use like liquid glue, it could ooze out of the tool. So I just found taking your mini glue dots and putting them in a ball, kind of hiding it behind the polka dots of the tulle ribbon is the perfect way to just adhere that quickly and easily. All right, so this is our Reese's Peanut Butter Cup box, and you can see it fits right in there. Now, if you create this box, the one thing I want to recommend is when you slide it in and out, you don't pull on these edges right here, because that can kind of, like as you see here, mine's not fully glued down yet. If you don't have that and you pull it, it could kind of pull the whole box out. So what I like to do is I like to slide it in and out by this bottom piece here. Or if you already have the candy in it, you can just push it out from like this end here. But that is our second project for Technique Tuesday today, using the Ghoulish Goodies stamp set. All right. I hope you all had a great time with me creating these Halloween projects for Technique Tuesday. Join me next week where we create more Halloween projects just in time for spooky season. I look forward to seeing you as I start quarantine next week on Monday before my surgery next Thursday, and I look forward to spending a lot of time here in my craft room as I recover. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Monday. Bye.